Welcome to Laughter for All. It's the podcast with comedian Nazareth.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Laughter for All podcast. I am comedian Nazareth, and thank you so much for joining me this Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. California time. Just wanna remind you that this Saturday, July 22nd, 2023, we're gonna have the Laughter for All comedy concert in San Bernardino, California at the California Theater of the Performing Arts at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific time, not 7, 6 p.m. Doors open at 5:30. Be there around 5 because as of today, we have 1,800 tickets sold, and we're probably gonna sell out. Even though this is a free event, we're not charging people, but people have to register by going to laughterforall.org and getting the registering for their free tickets, and they can come to the show even though they don't bring a paper thing, or they can show it on their phone or wherever. But if they're registered, we're gonna they're gonna come in and enjoy the show. I'm gonna have comedian Gilbert Escoval with me. He's hilarious. I'm gonna have variety act Michael Rayner. This guy has been on every night show. He has so many followers on TikTok. He's gonna be with us. And also comedian Sizzle C will be performing and hosting the show. Also, Kristen Anthony Band is going to be starting the event with few songs. They're wonderful, great voices. So just come in, bring your family, and make sure you get your free tickets by going to laughterforall.org. Okay, that's number one. Number two, today we open the sales for my tour. There's 2 dates right now that the tickets are open for. October 13th in Houston, Texas, and October 14th in Tyler, Texas. It's called A Time to Laugh. It's a wonderful, wonderful comedy concert. I'm bringing some comics with me. It's going to be a fun, fun night. So get your tickets. Get your tickets right now by going to you can go to the church's address, like Houston Calvary, Houston, or you can go to Cross Brand Cowboy Church in Tyler, Texas. Get your tickets. By tomorrow, you'll be able to get on NazarethUSA.com and get your tickets. Don't want to confuse you. This Saturday, if you want to volunteer and help us come in, if you want to donate to this event, that's free. It's free. And, we don't have sponsors, so we're taking all the burden here. Right here, we're paying for this. So if you want to help us, you can donate to laughterforall.org. And if you want to volunteer, come to the show and say, I want to volunteer. I want to be a follow-up counselor. I want to, pray with people. I want to help people. Just show it. Okay, I'm excited because I've been asking this young lady for a long time to be in the show. She's always been hesitant, but she agreed. And I'm so thankful. Her dad was on the show a few months ago, and I'm going to introduce her officially. I've been keeping her on hold. Hannah Maloof, she's a professional racer, a stunt woman, and an engine builder at a family business, Maloof Racing Engines. This is the first woman that has the title engine builder. I've been to most countries around the world. I've been to 50 states. Not once I had a lady introduce herself. Hi, I'm Barbie, and I'm an engine builder. Whatever. I don't know. I use the word Barbie. This is horrible. I mean, hi, I'm Karen. I'm an engine builder. You know what? And then after you shake her hand, you go, oh man, you got all this grease. You are an engine builder. No, never met anyone before. So this is exciting. Hannah has been working side by side with her parents at their family business, Maloof Racing Engines, ever since the day she was born. So she was born into this. Hannah has since then became the CEO of, Maloof Racing Engines. She has not only been trained in the ropes of the trade, she has been trained on running a business such as this in the racing industry. Hannah began training in precision stunt driving at the age of 13. People, at age 13, she's doing stunts. I won't even let my daughter ride a bike at age 13. Maybe I'm not a good dad. I don't know. But Sammy Maloof, I love Sammy. Sammy is a great guy, great Christian, solid believer. She received her first non union job at the age of 16 as a background driver. Hannah had many stunts booking since then and has recently joined the SAG community. So she should be on strike right now if she's with SAG. But anyway, okay. Visit the stunt resume page to view her latest. Go to hannahmaloof.com and you can see all that. She's an engine builder, and what I love about her is she said at the end of her thing, and there's so much to say about her. Is she said, huge thanks to my heavenly Father as well as my mom and dad. Let's please welcome Hannah Maloof. Hannah, welcome. How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Good. You're still at work, huh?
Yes.
No, you're born into this. Your dad is Sammy. He's a stunt, actor. What do you call it? Stunt devil or
Stunt man. Yeah,
stunt
stunt
man? He's
driver.
a stunt man. So, and he builds engines, and you
Mhm.
were born into this.
Yes.
Is at one point you decided, I want to do this. This is what I really want. It's not because of my parents. This is what I want to do.
Um, I was always taught at a very young age to um figure out what I want to do in life, what my
Hmm.
passion is, and then
Hmm.
become the biggest problem solver in it, right? So
Okay.
at a very young age, I was always, you know, um, finding like figuring out like what is my passion, and I knew from a young age that this is what I wanted to do. This is what I love. It's I've been in it for like I said, from birth, and so I found out what I wanted to do, and that I knew it because it's a passion, and it's something that that I love every piece of it. So I knew from a young age.
This is interesting because I know your dad. He's a good friend of mine. He's Middle Eastern. He's Lebanese.
Hmm.
Now you're born here, but
Yeah.
if you know of anything about the Middle Eastern women and how this is not this is not normal for
Hmm.
a woman, yet alone from the Middle East originally, or the heritage for her family to be doing this, building engines and racing cars. I'm not being chauvinist. I don't know. I might sound like old fashioned question, but what do you think of that?
of um of coming from that kind of background.
Yes, and that's having just looking back at like Lebanese women or Middle Eastern women back in the old country, and
Hmm.
going, wow, this is not what a woman does.
See, like for me, I've never thought of that really, like because I was born into it, and I was homeschooled all the way up until I want to say it was fifth grade. So I really only knew this. I saw my family doing it, and I was at the shop every single day.
Mhm.
So I didn't think about like, oh, this isn't something that women don't do. It's not something that, this is only a job for men. It's like, oh no, this is what my dad does. So, and I love doing it. And so that's just how I saw it, you know?
Now, when have you ever going? I want to try this. I want to go into this and try that away from the shop, away from my family, and try. Have you ever done that where you go? I want to go try something different, see if I have a passion for something else.
No, no, because I think that passion is a very big thing, and that when you find your passion, that you know, um, it like you can't really get away from it because it's something that is just it's in you. It's something that God gave you, you know.
Right, right. Now, they say opposites attract, right?
Hmm.
So who would be the perfect guy for you when if you think, oh, this guy would be a perfect guy? Would it be a guy that does nails because it's opposite attract, or what? Or what would be your ideal guy? Someone works engines or race cars as well, or no?
Well, see, like I know a lot of people say opposites attract, but I also think that that isn't entirely true when it comes to any type of relationship. Like you wanna it's about like your differences that you can bring together, but it's also about your similarities too. I think it's both. You know.
Well, so. Let's say I don't know. Like I know some. I have two daughters, and I have my wife. And if I know my daughter is, she's always like, if she meets a handsome guy, she tries to look nice and pretty and all that. And now you're working in an engine. What do you do? You go, wait, let me go clean up and come and say hi, or you just?
No, I am who I am. So
I love
you see
that.
me as I am.
Now, how many tickets did you get in your lifetime, driving tickets?
um,
Like
none, none.
no speeding tickets?
I've never had a ticket.
Wow. Now, who taught you how to drive? Did you have to have like 6 hours of professional driver, or was it your dad?
So yeah, so my dad obviously taught me how to drive, and I've been driving for a
I'm
very long
sorry.
time. Like before, like I've been driving. I was driving in his lap when I was, 2 years old. 18 months. I was driving in his lap. He'd let me hold the steering wheel and try and stay in the lines, right? And then I think the first car I drove, I was 8 years old. Yeah, I want to say I was 8. We have a stunt car, so my dad would let me drive our stunt car up and down the street, and
At age 8, you're driving a stunt car. Done. I think Sammy Maloof should be arrested for doing that. When he
no,
was
it was a
trying,
controlled environment.
he wasn't raising daughters. He was raising future employees. That's what your dad was doing. Uh,
Yeah.
so what was your first car? What was your first car that, at age, what, when did you get your license? At age 15?
15 and a half, I think, is when you can get your permit, and then you get
Permit.
your license at 16 is what it was. So I got my license when I was 16, and then my first car was I still have it. It's a 68 Nova.
A 68 Nova.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you probably put the engine yourself. You changed the engine to make it a racing engine.
I actually haven't done much to it. My dad, it used to be one of our used to be a customer's car that my dad had done some work on, and they ended up, getting rid of it. So, yeah, I
So
haven't done a whole lot to it except for I drove it and, did some changed exhaust on it a little bit. But it's a good driver right now. So,
now, how can you take a regular engine and make it a race engine? What do you do to it that makes it go faster? Or
So a race engine and well, they're all performance engines that we build here. But there's either like a street strip build, which would be something a little bit more, something you could drive every day, but then you can also put it on the track if you wanted to, right? It has enough power for that. And then an all-out race engine is, different. That's going to be a completely its own build. You'd have
oh,
start that from scratch, like an all-out race build, like for some of the drag cars that we build, or like the off-road trucks or stuff like that, like race boats. Those all-out engines, a lot of them you start from a bare block, and it just depends on the parts that you put in it. There are usually there's certain race parts, like I don't know how to explain this like in
I
a
know.
non-detailed way so that it's kind of like understandable, but but yeah, there's certain parts that you get for those applications. It just really depends on how on the build and the car, because there's a lot of race engines that that we do that you can they don't have to be a $100,000 build.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, on your day off, what do you do? I mean, when you're not building engines or in the shop, what do you do for a day off?
uh Great question. I'm always here. Um, so it's like I'm here, 6 to 7 days a week. It depends,
Oh,
So when I'm not here, I'm racing or um, going to events.
so when you started racing, I mean, what was your first time on the track? What was that
Um,
like for you?
so my first time on the track was when I was 16 years old. It was in my 95 Dodge truck that we had here. And that's also a built truck. So it had an engine, a small block engine that my dad had built for it. And so I took that to the track when I got my license, like the day
The
after.
day you got your license.
It came in the mail, and it was a Thursday night, and I was like, all right, let's go, because they wouldn't let you on the track unless you had either an NHRA license or a driver's license. And so
Oh,
yeah, so I had gotten my driver's license, and then I took that, and dad and I went to the track, and um yeah, then I took it down the track for the first time, and then that was it. I was
and
hooked.
how fast did you go that day?
Ooh, let me see. I think I was I want to say that truck went no, nines. I want to say it was not. It's been so long, but I want to say it was like nines. You know, in
Nine,
the mile.
90 miles an hour?
No, 9 seconds.
9 seconds. Oh, you do that. What do you call it? That's
Drag
drag
race.
racing. Oh,
Hmm.
you do drag racing.
Yeah, I do drag racing right now. But the mile per hour on that, I don't really remember. I want to say it was like close to 75 miles an hour, 76, something like that.
But have you done racing like regular, like NASCAR racing?
I've driven cars around the track, but I don't race NASCAR. Mm-mm.
You don't drag. Okay. So
No.
drag racing is just like boom, how fast you can go, you get to in few seconds. Yeah.
Depends. Yeah, there's different styles. Yeah,
What
for
does your mom think of this? What is she when she said, "Oh, I'm going to the racetrack, mom"? What is she
sure.
so?
She enjoys it. We really we have a whole team, and mom and the whole family goes out there, and she enjoys it. We have a lot of fun. She films for us and helps out.
Now, what would be if a genie came to Hannah Maloof and said, "I will give you one thing. You can ask whatever it is. I'll give that to you. The one thing. What would that be?"
One thing.
Yeah.
Um
As far as like what do you dream of like in 10 years or 50? What would you like? Where would you like to be?
where would I like to be? Just, I love what I do. So I want to do what I'm doing, but at greater scales. I never want to stay at the same level. I want to keep
Right.
growing. So, staying within my passion, but at, greater levels, expanding, doing more.
Right. More of like engine building, running the business, or doing the racing or the stunt.
Yes and yes. So all of
All
it.
of
Yeah.
it.
So
All of it.
I'm in all three things. So just, and everything that comes along with it, all the events and shows and all that stuff. Yeah.
That is so much fun. You do the Netflix show that came in a few couple
Mhm.
years ago, and I think there's still. I know maybe you can't talk about if there's another series coming on Netflix, but
Mhm.
what was that like when it first came to you? How did you feel about that?
Like when they first proposed doing the
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
Um, it was good. We had done a Netflix show already before. Well, we were on one before. It was called Fastest Car.
um,
So we had done stuff with Netflix before, and we were really good friends with the producers of that show. And we've had a lot of different networks film pilots on us and stuff like that. So it was good, and I was happy that it was with Netflix because they're a great platform to be with, I
mhm.
believe. So um yeah, it was a great thing, and I enjoyed it.
You did.
Yeah.
Uh, w- you know, the Lebanese community. I mean, over in Lebanon, I know there's people going, "Wow, there's a race car driver. There's this, well, Lebanese Hannah Maloof." Have you ever considered visiting Lebanon?
Yeah, I have. I'm trying to plan a trip to go there. Um yeah, I was just talking with my cousin about that a couple weeks ago. She just got back from a 3-week trip there. So
And you,
yeah, and
you
I've been wanting to go for a long time.
that's awesome. You have something on your Instagram. I want to encourage everyone to go to your Instagram, and it's called Motivation Monday, where
Yes.
you put some motivational stuff in it's how so is this something where like is that what keeps you going? Do you keep trying to get motivated to do what you're doing and all that?
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, for someone like, let's say I'm a comedian, so I put, funny stuff on the thing. You're putting motivational stuff in it. Just, I mean, um, what do you call it? I mean, I see that you have a heart to encourage people and do that. So, is this something you probably would consider maybe uh, training young girls to do what you're doing?
I would train anybody because I think it's not just like one or the other. But yeah, I do it because I believe in helping other people as well, and I put those out there because they're things that I've learned, and from my dad, and just words of wisdom that I like and that speak to me. So I put them out there for other people as well to help them, and it inspires and helps a lot of people from the feedback that I get. So
Good. Have you ever felt, I mean, you know your job, you know what you're doing, you know how to build an engine. Have you ever felt because you're being in a male dominated, industry, have you ever seen, like some guys look down on you thinking you don't know what you're talking about? Has this happens a lot or no?
no, see, for me, the way that my parents raised me was to um not focus on that stuff. So even if they were, I wouldn't know because I'm not even paying attention to that kind of stuff because it doesn't matter. If you're going to look down on me, that's their problem, not mine. Like I know and I love what I do, and that's that. If, I don't focus on what everyone else has to say about it.
I love that. I mean, your dad, I mean, people know your dad. He's a very strong personality.
Yeah.
Solid Christian man. What was that like? Were you the same personality? Were you butting head with your dad, or or what? It was, like he was the, what do you call it? The, whatever he says has to happen.
No, I didn't really ever butt heads with my dad. I respect my parents a lot, so and I trust their wisdom. So
You're amazing. You guys, they don't make kids like you. I want my kids to say that. That's awesome. What scares Hannah Maloof? What scares you?
nothing scares me.
Really?
No, I don't get scared of anything.
Well, tell me some of the stunt work you've done. Just few. Tell the audience some of the stunt work that you have done.
Um, I did a Blade commercial one time. It's an Uber helicopters. I always talk about this because I think it's pretty cool because I'd never heard of Uber helicopters before I had done this, and
What's an Uber helicopter?
it's like Uber but with helicopters, so you can Uber a helicopter to your house or something.
Really?
Hmm. Yeah, and it's called Blade, and yeah, I had to take a convertible stock Mustang. It was 60s, and I had to take that down the street and out in the middle of the desert and slide it onto a dirt road and then slide it up to the helicopter with the actor in the car.
What? Whoa. Wait, say that again. Okay. There's a helicopter,
Yeah, the helicopter.
and there's someone flying the helicopter, and it lands.
Yeah, and then it lands into this like area that they
Uh-huh.
had set up with like buildings and stuff, a couple of little buildings out in the middle of the desert. They
Yeah.
had it landed there. And I guess the point of the story was that the actress and the actor were driving, and they were like, this was like their getaway, their getaway
Oh,
helicopter. And so they were to slide up to that and get out and go run into the helicopter. So I was doubling the actress.
I see. And that was what else? Other stuff you've done that maybe scary.
Scary. I do a lot of precision driving stuff, so nothing crazy. It's like that, in my opinion, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Oh, nothing. Just going 100 miles an hour.
yeah, just
What is precision? What does that mean? Precision driving. What does that mean?
precision driving is it's like it's stunt works, it's 180s, 360s, 90s, it's sliding a car in between two parked cars, it's reverse 180s, stuff like that. It's all the driving sequence stuff. Yeah.
And you do all that.
Yes.
And Dad taught you how to do that.
Yes.
Oh man, this is amazing. This is amazing. What do you call it? What's the most memorable race you've ever participated in, and why? I mean, do you remember? Do you have a
The
special?
most memorable?
Yeah.
Hmm. Feeling this is gonna.
Well, if you
Um.
don't remember it, it's not memorable.
No, let me see here. I have a lot of races. I mean, I enjoy each of them, and there's different memories at each race, you know. One of the races I did last year was a big race, and that was a really fun race to be at. It was in Vegas. And that was pretty cool because, you know, me and my dad were running that race together. So,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I saw that on Instagram. Yeah, he was running his car, and you had was that your car, the brown and like
Yeah, the
blue?
orange and blue one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah.
You know, what do you call it? So, how do you like if you want to learn a new trick, a race, you know, like stuff? What do you do? Do you hit the car while you're trying? Do you do you hurt yourself?
What do you mean? Like with
For example,
stunts?
let's say you're learning how to do a 360 or a 180 or whatever with the car.
Okay.
I mean, you don't do it right the first time, right? You have to practice.
Yeah, so the way that my dad had originally trained me when I was 13 was in our stunt car in front of our shop, and we put out cones. So and I would be out there for hours, and he would say, "Okay, you're going to do a 90," and he'd show me how to do it. And he's like, "Okay, now I want this cone at your door in the center every time 10 times in a row." Right? And that's sliding it driver's side to the cone. Okay. Then I would do that. And every time I'd mess up, my 10 times would have to start over. And so I
Mm.
would, you know, I'd have to get it 10 times perfectly. Then he would show me how to do it the other way so that I could do not just a left, but a right. So then it was passenger side cone right in the driver door, you know? So that's when I say precision. It's, you know, being able to hit that mark repeatedly and exactly. You know, it's not just getting it close or this, because when it comes to stunts, you have to be exact, you have to be perfect, because that cone is a person with a camera,
Mm.
you know, or it's
That's
another car, or it's anything, a guy on a motorcycle, but you have to be precise when hitting your marks. So that's why, you know, it's you're out there for hours doing the same thing over, just repeating it.
That's funny because I remember I was at one event this early this year. I did the comedy, but you and your sister were standing in the middle of the road, and your dad and another stunt driver were just doing, you know, what do you call it, 180s around you or
Donuts, yeah, it's basically,
donuts.
yeah,
And I mean, my first reaction, what a bad father who would put his daughter in danger just to show
Oh,
the people that he can do donuts. But
yeah.
that's not the case, right?
No, no, not at all. I mean, it, you do that on set, you know, when they want a shot, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's part of being in stunts too, you know. But
Have,
I mean, he's been doing that since we were really little, so we've always been pretty comfortable around cars, and with him driving around. I mean, we've even done it where like I was strapped to the top of the car and he's doing donuts.
what?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was completely safe and we had everything, but I mean, yeah.
He straps you around the car and does donuts with the car. That's illegal in the United States.
It's a
That's funny.
controlled environment, you know, and everything it's all about safety first and stuff. But yeah, that's part of stunts.
That's amazing. Neil is asking a question. What's the hardest one you have learned? And if different, what is the trick that took the longest to learn?
So what is the hardest one and what took the longest to learn?
Yeah, I mean, if it's
Um,
different than what was the hardest one you had to learn? Trick you had to learn?
you know, that's a great question. I don't think they were any of them were like where I was like, this is just too hard. It's more of because my dad's such a great teacher. so he's easy to learn from. And so when he explains it, it's very easy to understand. So nothing was like where I was like, oh, this is really hard. This is, really tricky. All of it is very precise though, and very where you need to be on your game, and your mind has to be thinking of what you're doing and everything around you, because when it comes to that, you can't just be like, your mind can't be anywhere else, and it can't also be only on focus on one thing. You have to be thinking about the car, you have to be listening to the car, you need to be focused on the surroundings, of where you are in the moment, where you're going, the people, the cars down the streets, especially when you're on set and with filming, you don't know, because sometimes you block off a street, but we call them a bogey, and that's somebody that just walks in on set, and they're just walking down the street, and it's like they don't know that we're filming or that we have it blocked off. And so you have to be aware and on your toes and thinking of those things too. So
that's right. Yeah. That's right. I never thought of it. Right. Sometimes when you block the set, that doesn't mean you're good.
Yeah.
Good.
Sometimes we get bogeys still.
Have you ever hurt yourself?
No.
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 You never hurt anybody else?
No, I've never hurt anybody else either.
Have you ever strapped your sisters on a car and did donuts?
Just me.
This is amazing. You know what amazes me is, like, in a world where normally, daughters or kids and sons, they're anxious, they're depressed, they don't know what they want to do in life. They think their parents are horrible. They don't want to do, they want to disassociate. And, especially at age 13, 14, where normally kids want to separate from their parents. You're just loving everything. You're being obedient to your parents. You have the passion for that. That's just amazing. Why is that? What made you that way? I mean, I don't know if you have an answer to that, but
yeah, I don't know if I have an answer to that either. But I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with, I'm grateful for the family I have and the parents I have and the way that they raised me, and the way their parents raised them as well. Very, like, we're, back from my ancestors and stuff, everybody's very family oriented,
right.
and just keeping the family always together and doing things with your family. And so it's, and that's, I feel like, also like kind of a cultural thing with like the Lebanese side as well, because they're very big on family as well.
Right. And the Maloof family is very famous. There's a lot of Maloofs in the US that, they used to own the Kings, they used to own the Palms in Vegas, and I mean, a big family. But
Yeah.
what have you learned from your mom, Hannah? Not from dad, from mom.
From my mom, I've learned a lot, and it really depends. I mean, both, like, I always speak with both of them because they both they both have taught me like the same things, and because they're both on like the same page. So it's like everything I've learned is from both of them, and they've both made me, who I am, like help mold me into who I am today. And so, but yeah, I mean, she's taught me a lot from just being, like I said earlier, like talking about like not being worried about what other people are gonna say, like even because I was in school for a while too. So she's like always like, like be confident in who you are. And it's not about like what other people are going to say or this or that. It's, you know who you are in Christ, and who you are as a person. And that's what matters, And so that's why it's like, I was never like, I didn't never focus on what the negative. It's always on the positive,
Right.
And then she also teaches me a lot of stuff when it comes to like the business, because she works in the office and stuff, with all that. So I've learned a lot of business stuff from her.
That's awesome. You mentioned Christ. Now, I know your dad is a pastor. I mean, he's a race car driver center, but he always, every Sunday, he has a church and
a Bible study.
a Bible study here at the shop. And My question is, every person, every young person is at one point, first when they start, they follow the faith of their parents, and their parents' faith is theirs. But at one point in growing up, they either rebel or they get to a point where they have their own faith. What,
Hmm.
did that happen to you, or you just followed through like with parents? Was there a moment where you said, I want to have my own testimony?
What
That
do you mean by
I
my?
mean, you know what? Like, were you always like, oh, okay, well, since I was born, I was a Christian. I've been a Christian. I've always been a Christian. Was there a moment you go, I wanna find my own Christianity, my own faith. I wanna own my own faith. Does that make sense or no?
Not. I'm not sure if I'm
Have you
completely.
ever rebelled? Have you ever like backslidden, rebelled, and said, I don't
No.
want. No,
No, I don't. I've never like rebelled or anything like that. Like I have, I believe that everybody has their own relationship with Christ,
right?
So yeah, I mean, my parents are my dad and my mom are obviously Christian, and they I mean, I don't know how really to explain it, but like, I mean,
You just
like,
flew with it, continued with it, it became your own faith. It was, that some people, especially, yeah, even my own children, they get a point where go, you know what, I don't want your Christianity. I want to make my I want to I want to find out myself. I want to
mm,
try to find. I want to go in the world and find out my own, my faith. And some people rebel. Some people say, I don't want to go to church anymore. I don't want to read the Bible. But they come back. I don't know. You're just so perfect. I'm just like, you're too perfect. Okay, let's ask.
I don't know about that.
If there's a race that you dream of doing.
A race I dream of doing.
Yeah, like, oh,
Um,
one day I want to do that.
I want to do off-road racing, so I want to get into like driving trophy trucks and stuff. So
What
that's my
kind of
that.
trucks?
Trophy trucks.
Trophy trucks.
Yeah,
What is those?
it's they're like a trophy truck. It's like there's specific class in off-road racing, so it's truck racing. Out in the dirt, but yeah. So it's that trophy trucks is like one of the classes style trucks.
You never played with Barbies, have you?
No, I had Hot Wheels.
You had Hot Wheels. I
I
love
had a
that.
bunch of Hot Wheels. Yeah.
So, what advice do you have for young women aspiring to become race car drivers or aspiring to do what you do? They're like, oh, you know what? So good to be able to watch Hannah or to listen to Hannah
Uh-huh.
because this is what I wanted to do. And I always felt uh, weird about it for a young girl to do that. But they see you. What advice do you have for that?
Like I tell everybody as just to if that's your passion, I say get under a mentor always. And a mentor is always your best way, somebody that will teach you and show you, um, and you can learn from.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, as long as you like, I always tell everybody just to figure out what your passion is, what your gifts and talents, and what you can get up every single day and do for the rest of your life and be happy doing it. Like do that, and then become the biggest problem solver, because that's what I was always taught, and so that's what I try to tell other people too. And there's going to always be people that are going to tell you something different, and as
Right.
in your heart that that's what you want and that's your passion, then not it doesn't really matter what everybody else is going to say, because they weren't given that vision. You were, you know.
Was
They're not
there,
gonna-
yeah, Neil was asking, was there a female in the industry that you have as a mentor or someone you looked up to? Of course, your dad is the dad, who
Mhm.
taught you, but was there like someone in the racing industry in the stunt going, yeah, that's encouraging. I want to be like her.
Not really. I'm not the type of person to follow people. So like, like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, did you hear this person, like they follow or like they look up to this person or whatever. It's like I've never been the type of person to follow anyone, like even like I don't even follow sports or like things like that, like so it's always been just my dad, my family. So
Now, if you someone on the side of the road and their car, they have the hood up and there's something wrong with their car and they're standing there, don't know it. Do you pull over and help them? You
yeah, normally I do, yes.
really? I wonder what
I
to say.
judge the situation first because sometimes people can be a little crazy. So I
Yeah.
judge the situation first, and I see, but 90% of the time I will stop and ask if they need help, and a lot of times people do. So
Really? And what do they say? Their first reaction? Let's say, I mean, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about myself. I know nothing about cars. I'm standing there stuck on the middle of the road. And this young lady comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, do you need help?"
I think people probably don't question it as much because I drive a big truck and it's
Oh,
loud and it smells like gasoline, and it's like, and that's where I keep a lot of tools in my truck too. So it's like I have things to help. So I usually, sometimes I've had to be like, no, like, trust me, I have stuff. Like I can pull you off to the side of the road. Like I can help you. Like I got, but like
I
most
know
of the time people are
engines.
just
I
kind of
can.
like, yeah, I do need help.
You go. I know engines. I can help you. Right.
Most of the time I don't ever really mention that. I just I'm like, hey, I've got some spanner ropes in the back. I can pull you off to the side. Because, like when you have a truck, people are like, you use a truck to pull cars. So usually
But
people
you
help
don't
me
just
pull
go
cars.
there and start telling them what's wrong with the car and working on it, right?
Not usually. I usually help them, um, out of the way, and then like I said, I judge the situation, but usually if it's like newer cars and stuff like that, they usually have like AAA or something they
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
but I don't really work on newer cars, so
So, what does Hannah Maloof think of electric cars?
I think they have their own place, just not with me, but they have their own place. Like every car has their own place.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny because they're saying like by 2020, what 2036 or 2026, California wants every car to be an electric car, and you guys will be out of business, huh?
Well, good luck with that. I don't think I think there's too many people, especially in this industry with racing and all the hot rods, that are not going to let that fly. So people are still gonna people have a passion for cars, so you can't really take that away.
Wow. So, what's your next project?
My next project, as far as like what like
Like racing, stunt, show? What is going on right now?
um right now, I know I've got some races coming up in September, October, and November. Some big races. They're all in Vegas
In
because
Vegas.
that's really all we got. We got Vegas and Bakersfield. Not really a lot of tracks out here too much anymore. So we go to Vegas a lot.
Yeah.
So those races will all be in Vegas.
Now,
Uh,
what's a dream car you want to work on or drive? What would be a dream car for
a
you?
dream car.
Yeah.
Hmm. It's a great question. Not sure because I have like I have different cars that I do eventually want, but they all serve different purposes, so it's like, you know, it's like it's hard to choose.
Okay. Yeah, it's not like the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis. Those don't interest you, right?
Not too much. Like I do like supercars. I think they're cool. And I think they are yeah, I mean, I think they're neat for what they are, and they're really cool cars. But I don't know that I really like would want one. I'm not sure about that because I like my muscle cars, and there's just something different about them.
What's the fastest car you've driven and how fast did you go?
Um, let's see. The fastest car I've driven, probably one of our drag cars would probably be one of the fastest. Our drag cars are pretty quick, mine or my dad's. Um, I don't normally say how fast they are. So
Okay.
I usually keep that like,
Oh
under,
yeah. No, no, I respect that. Okay.
but
Well,
they're pretty quick.
good, good, good. What are you thinking of writing a book or something? Have you ever thought of that?
No.
No?
I haven't thought of writing a book myself.
I mean, you're unique. I mean, there's not many young girls that do what you do. You know
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, there's not many, I don't want to call children or, young
Hmm.
people that are just, their life is so perfectly, God just maybe blessed you in your parents because you weren't into drugs, into drinking, into partying, and you never thought your parents were weird, and you never thought their faith is weird. You just, boom, you're just going on the right track. I mean, track, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, like I'm very grateful and blessed to have the life that I have and the family that I have. So I'm very thankful for that. Every day. And I never trivialize that. Because I know there are a lot of people that, you know, don't get that opportunity.
Mm,
And so that's why I want to kind of help. And that's why I use like my motivation Mondays, or like I post and stuff like that to kind of help and to help inspire other people
yeah.
um, to follow their passions and their dreams, no matter what they are, even if it's nothing to do with cars or racing or stunts, just whatever it is, just to, you know, to follow it and not to, get distracted by other things. I feel like a lot of times younger kids get distracted by, other kids or other influences. And so that's how they get off track, you know?
Mm.
But
So what you're
there's
saying
nothing
is
wrong with.
find your passion early on so you're not distracted by other friends or the world and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
like, there's nothing wrong with having friends and going out doing things, whatever. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but always staying, you know, building a strong foundation in yourself. I believe in, always having that strong foundation. That's what my parents had built in me, and
mhm.
so just
So if a girlfriend said, "Hey, Hannah, let's go do our nails and do our hair," is that interesting to you?
not really. I mean, I get my hair cut because
Uh,
you got to keep it healthy, and my hair is super long, so I do got to get it trimmed and stuff. But I don't
but
just
the
go get
nails,
like
you,
styled and all
you
that.
don't get the nails because you don't
Yeah,
get
no, my nails just are. I cut them as short as I can
so
because
you
otherwise
can.
grease gets under them. So, yeah. So I keep them pretty short, and I do not like get. I can't stand nail polish on my fingers or like putting on like those fake nails that are like that long or something. Like
Yeah.
me personally, I can't. Like there's something about it like I just don't like it. Like
Uh,
it looks good for other people, but I just don't like it on me. Like when I put like if I like had nail polish on my fingers, like I would just think it looks weird on my hands. Like on other people's hands, like it's it looks great on your hands, like it looks good for you, but like on my hand, it looks really weird. So I'm like just and it
yeah.
just feels weird to me. So it's not my thing.
And
But
now, if Neil was asking, if you are not doing this, what you're doing, what would you be doing? What do you think would be the
um,
other thing you'd be doing?
you know,
You never.
that's a hard question because this is literally what I do. Like everything that I do is always revolved around cars. Like I mean, there are like even when I go out like with my friends or something, like we go kart racing. So it's like like me and my cousin will go kart racing all the time. So,
That's funny.
oh
N-
yeah. So it's like this is just I don't know what I would do. This is
Normally, Hannah, the people that are doing what you're doing, we call them adrenaline junkies because they do it for the adrenaline rush.
uh-huh.
Are you like that, or you're not? You're not into
Like
that. the adrenaline rush. Like I want to do something more because I want to get that adrenaline rush.
Oh, like doing it because you're like, okay. I wouldn't say necessarily it's for that. I think it's just because I just love it, and I just
Mm.
love what I do, everything that entails it. So it's not really a specific like, oh, like, a specific like it's for the adrenaline rush or something. It's just everything.
Wow, that's amazing. I appreciate your time. I want to thank you so much for just being on the show and taking the time. And I know it's hot in the shop right now, but how
That
can people find more about your work, get a hold of you, follow you? Where can they go?
um so I have Instagram. It's Hot Rod Hannah 777.
Hot Rod Hannah 777. Okay,
Yeah,
on
so that's my
Instagram.
Instagram. I've got Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's all pretty much under my name. I have, my website is also under my name. I try to keep everything updated. So with like race dates and events and things I'll be at. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've pretty much a lot of the most like, most of the social media stuff. So
Okay, Hot Rod Hannah 777, and that would be, I'm just trying to put that at, okay,
yeah,
so
that
that,
would be for Instagram, and then like TikTok is the same, and then
yeah,
Facebook, YouTube is just gonna be my name, and then website is my name.
yeah, I put that
I
up.
tried to keep it simple.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you. I've always enjoyed bringing my car to you guys because I know if dad is busy, you'll be able to you take care of it. I
Of
appreciate you
course.
so much and hope to see you soon and praying for that Netflix second season and other stuff. And best of luck for you. God
Yeah,
bless.
thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed doing this with you, and I hope to see you again as well.
You got it. Say hello to your parents.
I will tell them you say hello.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching. The reason I was very interested in Hannah, because you know what? All you hear about is people, young people are in drugs and alcohol and problems, and, they have nothing to do with their faith and they don't want their parents' faith and they want to this and they're confused and they're anxious and I mean, understand mental illnesses and all that. But what I'm saying is, like, you meet someone like Hannah, that's everything is just like perfectly well. She loves her parents, she has the same passion, she learned from them, she's trying to be the best at what she does, she enjoys what she's doing, she's not worried about what people say bad or or gossip or whatever it is. She doesn't care what they do. She knows what she wants, and that's what she want to continue to do. I hope you got that on this episode. I hope that gives you hope, that gives you encouragement, and is to have that young generation that's really taken over our nation to be the type of people like Hannah Maloof and girls like her and people like her. So thank you guys for watching. Reminder, um, what do you call it? Reminder, this Saturday, July 22nd at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be at the California Theater of the Performing Arts in San Bernardino, California. Get your tickets early. It's a free event, but you got to go to laughterforall.org to get your free ticket, or else we're not going to have room because we already have 1,800 tickets, registered, sold, and we kind of have a few hundred more left. By Friday, they'll be gone. So get your tickets right away. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and let your friends know about this podcast and let them know they to subscribe to it. All right. God bless you and thank you so much and have a great night.